Why bother with big game if you're a mid-sized firm? How can you go after the
The big company.
Fortune 1000?
Yeah.
What I've realized is that smaller business owners who are professionals themselves, usually, if they want to sell their business, end up not having too many assets to sell and not really having much when it comes to the valuation and the price they're going to sell it for, really not getting the money that they would like to have for their business. Now, here's why. The business is in their head. All the knowledge, all the contacts, all the customer information is often in their heads. And they also don't have bricks and mortar, so they have no other assets that traditionally anybody could say that's a value for. So having a couple of long-standing agreements in place for
Customers.
a services firm, yes.
Yeah. They can sell that and sell the clientele.
What it means is that there's predictable cash flow. Now, the problem when you're selling a services business is it's usually contract or, pardon me, it's contract or project based. So that means that there's a start and an end. They don't go on year over year generally. You come in for a special event in the life of that business and you're finished. But if you can become a preferred provider or a preferred vendor, in other words, you have been pre-approved by a large firm, you're the only specialty provider in that category for them, it means that year over year you will get repeat assignments. If you engineer it properly, you'll get repeat assignments inside of a large firm, and therefore when it's time to sell and the business owner leaves, the new owner says, oh, well, I don't have to start at zero, there's at least something I can depend upon when I've bought this business.
Yeah, because they're buying some cash flow. They
That's
can
it.
project what their income's going to be over the next little bit.
Yes.
One of the issues that, because you're talking about smaller, medium-sized companies getting big corporate clients. One of the issues that I've heard small and medium-sized business people talk about is they don't want to have kind of all their eggs in one basket. They don't want to have just one big customer, or even taking on, if they've got a bunch of little customers and all of a sudden now they take on a big customer like that, it changes or can change the whole character of their business. And in the long run, I've heard some of these people say, I don't really want that one big customer that's gonna, because if they leave, then they upset the apple cart.
That's true. And I would give you the diversification advice, whether I was your financial advisor or whether I was your business development person. When I talk about becoming preferred provider inside of a large corporation, we think of, for instance, a big bank as one entity. In fact, it is an agglomeration of many different businesses. There might be as many as 30, 50 lines of business or P&Ls, profit and loss areas within a business. So what that means is that if you're in a big financial services brand, for instance, as a provider, you might have as many as 30 to 50 very discrete budgets that could buy your services. So I view that as diversification within the umbrella of risk reduction, because the small business absolutely has to guarantee that they don't have all of their cash flow and all of their assets going out the door if somebody defects. So there's a balance to be had inside of the business development process or methodology, which is part of what I leave behind. After my work is finished, I have taken the knowledge out of the owner's brain, put it into database, put it into methodology. I've watched where a business owner is the person who does the networking. They might have a couple people on staff. They've usually hired those salespeople for their Rolodex, for their contacts within the industry. That means they might have access. The difficulty there is that many salespeople are not that experienced inside of a large, complex decision-making process. If you're inside of a Fortune 1000 company, there might be as many as 20, 30 influencers in and around a decision.
That's giving me
Oh,
a
yeah.
headache right now. Putting myself in the position of a small to medium-sized person trying to access that bureaucracy, that is giving me a headache just thinking about